I mean, Donald Trump made it so that you are not safe at your job by inciting the insurrection against the Capitol. And I wonder what your understanding is of the current security situation at the Capitol.
Well, I've had the chance to be there quite a bit over the course of this week, was just there today. And I have to tell you, number one, I am so moved by the dedication of the Capitol Police, anyone I've been able to talk to and be in contact with. They are committed, they are dedicated, they are heartbroken for what took place. And of course, the loss of two of their members. I also today had the chance to visit with National Guard members from Pennsylvania, from my home state and my area, frankly. It was an honor to meet with them over in the Capitol Visitors Center. So today, the Capitol stands very, very secure. I do feel safe, but look what it took. It took an incited, attempted coup by a president, and then the presence of tens of thousands of National Guard to support our Capitol Police and Metropolitan Police. It's a sad state where we are, but certainly the Capitol is very secure now.
Can you explain the reporting overnight that some National Guardsmen ended up in a garage?
I can. I have read the reporting, and that's why I took the chance today to go find some members of the Pennsylvania National Guards to just simply say, I am sorry. I have no idea why that level of disrespect and just utter mistaken order took place. So we'll have to find out. I don't know who made that order or why it would have happened, but it was clearly a mistake, and you saw Capitol Police rectify that and hang around until every one of them was brought back inside.
Is it your expectation or belief that the security situation will remain fraught through a trial of Donald J. Trump for impeachment?
I'm certain it will stay heightened. I don't think it will be fraught. I think there is a unity of purpose that this Capitol, this temple of our democracy, and all those who work there, not just the electeds, but the staff, the janitorial staff, the police, everyone who works there must be kept safe. And certainly it will be kept safe throughout the trial, and I'm sure well beyond.
I am surprised that if you look at the reaction after 9/11, it was fleeting, but it was a laying down of our partisan arms. And the decisions, again, they're still divisive and polarizing in their policy debates, but a lot of the decisions that were made and legislation that was passed was done so in a bipartisan way. If you think about it now, 2 weeks later, it's almost more stunning that more than 100 House Republicans voted to overturn the results of the election after the insurrection that led to the deaths of 5 people, including 2 Capitol Police officers. And I think 7 Senate Republicans voted so. What is the strategy for sort of breaking the partisan spell around the trial, which seems to me to have nothing to do with politics, but just a question for the United States Senate? Do you care about the rule of law? Do you care about a lawless president who incites an insurrection?
I think it's a very good point. And I do wonder, you were talking a lot with your previous guests about timing, whether sooner is better or delay is better. I do think that in the delay, whatever it happens to be, members who voted not to certify the election or not to impeach have had a chance or will continue to have a chance to reflect. You know, I was really moved by President Biden the night before he was sworn in, the memorial he did at the Reflecting Pond in the Lincoln Memorial. And what he said there, I thought, laid a predicate for our own work. He said there, to heal, we must remember. It's hard sometimes to remember, but that's how we heal. It's important we do that as a nation. As much as he was talking about healing through mourning and grieving over the dead, the 400,000 dead, including my own mother-in-law, he was also speaking, I believe, that for us to heal as a nation from this attack, we must remember. And that is what I believe the trial will represent. Some of the very first steps toward this nation healing.
I think you're right about that. Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, you always make us think. Thank you for spending some time talking to us about all that. We'll continue to turn to you as this proceeds. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.